I have a story here for you detailing Donald Trump's corruption, and it's so insane that it honestly sounds like it's from a movie. So Trump recently picked Representative Mick Mulvaney, a Republican from South Carolina, for a top position at the Office of Management and Budget. And he did that because earlier this year, Mulvaney introduced legislation that blocks payments by the housing lenders Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to funds that support low-income housing unless both Fannie and Freddie are what's called recapitalized and released. So Paul Blumenthal explains further here. He says the following: "This is exactly the policy desired by hedge fund billionaire John Paulson, head of Paulson and Company. He donated $250,000 to support the Trump campaign. He then led Trump's economic advisors for the remainder of the campaign and now sits on the transition team, advising him on economic policy. When the housing market tanked and the Great Recession of 2007 and 2009 began, the federal government took over Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, both deeply underwater, sending their stock prices plummeting. The Obama administration has since insisted on keeping the housing lenders under government authority and has redirected their profits into government coffers. During this time, speculators like Paulson bought up stock at bargain basement prices and began lobbying the government to end federal control and oversight of the lenders and then recapitalize them and release them back to the private market. Such a policy would undoubtedly send the stock price soaring, and those who had tens of millions worth of penny stock would see billions in profit, including Paulson. Trump had invested between $3 million and $15 million into Paulson's funds, according to the president-elect's most recent disclosure report filed in May." Oh my goodness. So do you understand what happened there? Let me give you the Cliff Notes version, even though I just gave you the long version. So you have President Obama, during the subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession, was like, okay, we got to figure out what to do here. Well, one of the major problems is Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Well, let's go ahead and take that and put that under government control. And it's basically a temporary thing, but we need to do that until the housing market stabilizes. And we need to do that to bring security and stability to the marketplace and basically stop the bleeding. So he does that. And to this day, he's like, look, man, we don't want to release it. We don't want to put it back into the private market. Well, guess what? When the government took over Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, as they described, the stock prices plummeted to the point where they were basically penny stocks. So if it's a penny stock, what did the billionaires do? Well, they went in there, they said, methinks that's a good investment. I'm going to go in there, buy it at a super duper duper low price, and then I'm going to turn around and lobby the government to try to recapitalize and release it, which means load it up with government money and then release it back into the private market. So as they describe, that's just a guaranteed way for these people to make billions of dollars. Now, you think there's a little bit of a conflict of interest? Like, you know how insider trading is illegal? Oh, you can't take a tip from somebody who, works for a company and they know there's going to be a merger. If they tell you, hey, there's going to be a merger, get in on this and make money, that's illegal. Well, this is basically, it's a similar kind of thing where you have them lobbying the government to do something that would make them billions and billions of dollars. So in other words, it would be government policy not made based on what's the correct thing to do for the American people. It'd be government policy made because billionaires bought the politicians and told them, hey, do X, Y, and Z because that'll make me super duper rich. So what's Trump doing? Trump himself is invested in Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac through this billionaire. And this billionaire's like, hey, Don, pick this guy because this is our boy and he'll do what we want with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And if they recapitalize and release Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac back to the private market, Donald Trump goes from being a fake billionaire to an actual billionaire in the blink of an eye. And make no mistake about it, they would do that, and they would do that again, not because it's the right thing to do for the country, not because they sat down and objectively analyzed the evidence and the data and the market trends and they know what the right course of action is. They'd be doing it simply out of greed, simply out of, I have a personal business interest in doing this, so now I'm going to do it. Man, that is fucking crazy. And as I'm reading through this, I'm going, really? Of all the things that are like technically legal, but should be illegal when it comes to campaign finance, like this might take the cake. What, you're telling me this isn't illegal? So the president himself is personally invested in a way that if you take Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and put it back in the private market, he'll just get billions of dollars in the blink of an eye. Him and his donors are in that position. And then they appoint somebody that's going to do that, and they're going to do that so that they make money, and everybody's like, nobody's going, oh, whoa, what's going on here? That's fucking crazy. What are we talking about? So this is a classic example of using the government for your personal benefit. And, I mean, look, you would think that a reasonable person would try to go out of their way to not pick somebody that exposes a conflict of interest. But they don't care. They don't care because they've gotten away with everything every step of the way. So why would they focus now on, oh, let's try to make sure we don't even appear corrupt? No, they're going, okay, you're my billionaire buddy, and we're both going to make billions off of this Fannie Mae Freddie Mac deal. So yeah, I'm going to appoint somebody who's going to do that deal. No shit. You handpick the motherfucker. I'll pick him. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. And remember, guys, I say it every show now, but I'm going to keep saying it because it's accurate. This is the same kind of shit that we all got mad at Hillary Clinton for. How deep of an establishment insider she really was and is. How she's buddy-buddy with Goldman Sachs. She's buddy-buddy with Wall Street. You know she's going to do favors for them and for herself. Her track record shows it. Her history shows it. She's going to do deals with the defense contractor. She's going to do deals with the Saudi frickin' government. She's going to do deals with all these unsavory characters. Now, Donald Trump is doing the exact same thing. So I need everybody who says hashtag drain the swamp to realize he ain't doing that. He's draining the swamp in your mouth.